You only go if you're happy with vegan diet. It's totally cool. You are engaging in deliberate self-harm. Here is go and de-indoctrinate yourself. The biological oppression in the guilt for your biological part. Something smelly, something dirty comes out of their rear end. My advisor that I'm sorry, I'm not going to do this. Sitting with severe anemia, with severe protein deficiency, holy chamomile. For any investor, it would be a very steep and bold decision because there's a limited array of foods to choose from. And there's no revolution possible. I myself, I had an ambition to fall in this range of below 5%. That there is some missing magical ingredient and the illusion of purity. It is always the illusion of cleanliness. What you're pooping out is the only thing that you can kind of control from a very crude biochemical perspective, manipulating you into the guilt about your own biology. If you don't enjoy it, you can forget about it. So today let's focus specifically on the aspect of veganism. What makes it so hard to quit this lifestyle even when it no longer serves you? When you realize that you, your health, your mental state would definitely undoubtedly benefit from consumption of animal products. Let's discuss some common psychological traps. And the first trap is this time trap. You may think that if I quit veganism or raw veganism even more so, I will lose 3, 5, 7, 11 years worth of cleaning myself. It's like as if my vegan clock will reset after this consumption of animal products. So if I, for whatever reason, don't like it, if I try animal products and I don't like the results, I don't like how it feels, then I won't be able to go back to my pre-experiment point when I was a clean, immaculate, pure vegan, raw vegan for these many years. So my vegan clock will have to reset. It will have to start over. And the remedy for this trap is to acknowledge that it is an illusion. This time commitment that lives in your head is a pure product of imagination. It is something that you ascribed value to. No one cares. There's no one to judge you. It's literally something that you created with your imagination and gave it value. In fact, there is no value in staying, let's say, vegan for 100% for several years without touching animal products. It doesn't do anything for your spiritual well-being. It doesn't make any difference in how society regards you. It doesn't make any difference for an environment. It doesn't do anything besides flattering something and fulfilling something that you yourself invented. And moreover, it is not an achievement to stay vegan or raw vegan for however many years. It is not an achievement. Food cannot be an achievement. It is not something that validates you as a person. And conversely, not practicing it doesn't invalidate you as a person. It is literally just a number of years, and only you entitle this number some special meaning. And here you need to ask yourself why. Why does this matter to you so much? What is this about? Why is your life so empty that you regard food abstinence and certain dietary practices as an achievement? It literally doesn't benefit you in any way, and even biochemically. So even your animalistic part doesn't benefit from it because this diet is an abstinence from numerous essential nutrients. So there is no practical or objective reason for choosing that. So you need to figure out, ask yourself those questions. You need to ask yourself, what is this about for you? Then, psychological trap number 2, but animals. You may think that I will be a terrible person if I eat animal products again. You may think to yourself, what is the value of my health if it requires animal abuse? And here you need to acknowledge very important thing. First and foremost thing, if you understand that you are suffering with your health without animal products, but you make an effort to not consume them despite that fact, then let's name it accurately. You are engaging in deliberate self-harm, and unfortunately, this is a symptom of serious psychological or even psychiatric condition. Then if you're consistently performing this act of ridding yourself of essential nutrition in the name of any idea, then you need to acknowledge that there is a problem that is deeper than food, that is deeper than ideology, and you literally need to either perform some mental exercises on your own, or you need to seek assistance. You need to hire a professional who will help you to figure this out, because there may be various underlying issues that push you towards this path of literally self-destruction. And then second point in this, this is that you may be kind of misinformed if you are not sure that you would be benefiting from introduction of animal products into your diet, or if you are scared of certain consequences that it may lead to, some unwanted consequences, because there is so much propaganda of veganism right now that is done very inaccurately, that is performed very disgracefully, very unethically, falsifying the data, using outdated data, then you just need to go and work researching materials on ethical farming, on the ecological implications of regenerative farming. Regenerative farming actually helps the environment in reducing the carbon footprint, and also saying that most ex-vegans actually support ethical, humane farming practices. They learn about high-quality meat products. They actually become activists supporting the practices that benefit both humans and environment and support animals throughout their lifetime, such that they can live without abuse. They don't support industrial farming by no means that makes the lives of the animals miserable. So they support all those ethical practices, and you need to do some research. You need to go online and find either groups or resources, articles that are talking about this, that there are alternatives to the intensive industrial farming. Basically, what I'm saying here is go and de-indoctrinate yourself, because there is very impressively made, very manipulative propaganda of it's this how religions instill the thought of the original sin. Vegan religion also instills the concept of original sin, but not associated with sexuality. It's associated with our food consumption. No different. It's literally based, it's rooted on the biological oppression, in the guilt for your biological part. So this is a very important thing to acknowledge and literally ditch it from your life, because your biological needs are essential to fulfill if you want to participate in the evolution as a functional unit. Psychological trap number 3: losing health benefits provided by plant-based eating or even raw vegan eating. This will be more prominent in this school of thought. You may be scared that by introducing animal foods in your diet, you will dial back on the health progress that was achieved by you switching from some dysfunctional diet to, let's say, raw veganism. So you're afraid that if you introduce meat, you may terminate the period of remission and something bad will happen. But think about the following. Right now, if you are watching this video, if you're considering adding animal products into your diet, this means that this diet doesn't work for you. It is not a sustainable diet, and it is not surprising because, for example, raw vegan diet can be a really great elimination diet that removed from your diet literally every possible offender. Usually people have intolerances to legumes, grains, certain lectin-containing foods, processed foods, refined foods. So these are the things, and also processed meats, of course, go into that category. So you remove all those foods and you substitute them with fresh greens, with fresh fruits that carry all those juices rich in vitamin C, in some minerals that are not seriously bound to all the anti-nutrients in those products, and you see the health benefits. But let's think logically. This nutrition is incomplete. No elimination diet is supposed to be followed for the entire life. The role of elimination diet is to remove all possible offenders and then start adding foods back into your protocol such that you are capable of retaining a complete nutritional profile, such that you are capable of eating sustainable diet. Animal products, high quality, grass-fed, wholesome animal products that are not processed or minimally processed via cooking, they're rarely a culprit for any person without some acute disease, some acute metabolic disease. And even then, elimination of everything that meat is commonly eaten with in the society is usually associated with also entering the remission. Also, changing the percentage of lean meats and increasing the fatty meats, adding organ meats, also can help recover certain health conditions. Okay, the danger here is the following. At this point, if you start noticing that your very strict vegan or raw vegan diet doesn't work, usually people they usually have two choices. One choice is to increase the nutrient load of their diet by eating animal products, which is a reasonable and scientifically sound, practically sound, statistically relevant move. And the other side of it is to go and pursue elimination path and go on further and deeper detoxes. And this is a very dangerous path because the end result of any detox is literally ascension, but you understand what I'm talking about. And moreover, when you are at this fork, there is a very dangerous trend as well, because people who have eating disorders, who have obsession with detoxes, who have this psychological trauma of like realizing that humans are not inherently clean. There are children, one of the developmental stages of children is literally when they become aware that they poop, that something smelly, something dirty comes out of their rear end, and it shocks children. So this is a moment of both. They feel relief from doing this act, but at the same time they feel shame and kind of like terror from it. Some people, I guess, get traumatized by that, and this like trauma kind of gets probably starts flourishing in their adult life and making them obsessed with cleansing themselves. You can never be pure and immaculate, but this community will start supporting you even if you go completely emaciated, like happened to Jeanne Dart. She had in the comments, she had the worst thing happen. There were people cheering her up when she was already like 30 kilograms of weight. People were cheering her up and like, go girl, your goals. So people who starve themselves, they're usually regarded as some heroes, as super enlightened beings, and this receives a lot of praise. So you may feel like you're doing something superior, something really good by going by this path of detox, and people usually completely blink on the fact that people get emaciated is because of the body starting cannibalizing itself. Literally, instead of eating animal products, dirty animal products, for nutrition, the body of a professional detoxer literally destroys itself. So it eats animal products, but human flesh, bones, and everything. So this is what happens on the path of detox usually, and it never brings the relief. Trust me, if you're on already elimination diet, a further detox, further elimination practices, they will not bring you anything, and I'm going to make a video about it, how different organs suffer from nutrient deficiencies, what really happens on detoxes. So we're going to discuss this in one of the next videos, but you literally will be consuming yourself. You will be consuming animal products, but not from other species. You are not going to be consuming animal products through a digestive tract, which is how it's intended to be. You're going to be consuming them with like straight to your bloodstream. Your body will be just breaking itself apart to harvest all the essentials, to sustain vital functions. There are no other choices usually. So just be aware again that you are on already incomplete diet, and that it is almost impossible to go from high quality raw vegan diet to some junk diet that will be giving you health problems, because usually if you already attempted, you got the taste of high quality natural foods, you're not going to settle for some crap. You are going to find the best of the best. And another thing is that if you are already noticing the symptoms of malnourishment, you cannot afford losing your precious time. It goes against you at this point. So be mindful about it and choose wisely. And here I would like to bring up the following, not solution, but the idea of how you also can think. If you had, like myself, experience working in research, in science, working in industry, and if you actually trained yourself for having associated mindset to succeed in those fields, you would actually not lose a second after you've realized that you may possibly benefit from eating animal products again after veganism. And here's why. In any business, in any industry, in any creative process, in any research, you have two main resources. One resource is material resources, and you have another resource, which is time. And time is something that is not renewable, something that is very limited, and at the same time, there's different dynamics possible in research. So when you are working, let's say on small budget and having large amount of time to figure out certain problem, you can afford yourself a luxury of, for example, you need a complete data set, right? Like you need like a matrix of data points. You need matrix of, let's say, like 3 by 3. Imagine there's a field 3 by 3. You can fill with your little resources. You can run on like 2-3 experiments, and the rest you will have to kind of hypothesize, bring up some extrapolations. You will need to speculate about them. You will need to bring certain like evidence that can support that your experimental data can fit in a certain narrative, a certain story. But in any way, in your mental experiments with incomplete data set to draw some conclusion, some sound conclusion, you will be always missing the main validation of truth, which is experiment. So unless you fill in those gaps with experimental evidence, your theories, your formulas, your models will not be validated. And when we're dealing with health, when we're dealing with another almost irreplaceable resource, virtually non-renewable resource in our life, along with very precious time of our life that is also non-renewable resource. So we're dealing in this circumstance, we're dealing with an abundance of options. And if we make a decision to keep drawing some speculations instead of running the experiment and seeing if it works, then we are pretty dumb because our health is at stake. It is not some filthy contract. It is not some it's not some like business world. It's not some industry like experiencing some shortages or something. It's literally the health. So it really depends on how quickly you can fill in the gaps with the experimental data. How quickly you can find the most optimal solution without running all those infinite mental exercises. What if I drink herbal teas now while having like all symptoms of nutritional deficiencies, of full of like broad spectrum of nutritional deficiencies? And this is where we come to this example that no ex-vegan ever done vegan diet right. No raw vegan has ever done raw vegan diet right. It's just impossible in principle to do it right because it is fundamentally lacking essential nutrients. It is impossible to do this diet right. So you can play any games, any mental games, just acknowledge that this diet is fundamentally lacking nutrients and hence it is not complete. So there is no mental argument that can beat this. And if you feel like you would benefit from animal products, which I'm using very soft language because it is likely that you will, then you have to do this. Like if I came, for example, to my advisor, right? I'm working on a project, I'm trying to solve some problem, and I'm running certain experiments in the paradigm of certain thought process. So I came up with certain explanation and I'm trying to prove whether it works or not, and I'm trying to find the like solutions for that within that framework of thinking. And then I go to my advisor and I report that okay, it doesn't work. I tried everything. I did this and this and this and this, this and this and this and this in accordance to, let's say, these 2 studies, and they didn't work. My advisor shows me the 3rd study or 3rd and 4th and 5th study and shows me that okay, then try these methods. And if I tell my advisor that I'm sorry, I'm not going to do this, I think I will just stick with these things, my advisor will be like, okay, then your funding just terminates here because we need a solution, but you are not willing to step outside of your paradigm of your narrow box of ideas and try something else. It is just counterproductive in any area of life. But for some reason in health, we're willing to drink, herbal teas, sitting with severe anemia, with severe protein deficiency, holy chamomile. Then another example, another parallel, no one will be investing a lot of money and a lot of effort into the projects that have theoretical and experimental probability of success less than 5%. And this is how I estimate the success of veganism and raw veganism. Given that, I don't know if there is any updated data, that 84%, this notorious number, was collected when back in 2011 or 2015, so maybe it updated. 84% was the actual drop-off rate of the vegans turning into ex-vegans. And if we analyze the state of the health, the deficiencies, the risks and hazards of following vegan diet as opposed to consuming the full spectrum of nutrition, then we can conclude that the success rate is somewhere below 5% on a raw or vegan, any form of vegan or raw vegan diet in terms of achieving optimal health. For any investor, it would be a very steep and bold decision to invest in such a project, and the only way this less than 5% can work out if this investor literally focuses on solving the problem listed as this project through really groundbreaking, through really unusual, through revolutionary means, which are not possible when we think about food, because there is a limited array of foods to choose from on planet Earth. We simply cannot expand the amount of foods that grow on planet Earth, edible plants and edible animal products. So it's a limited thing. It is self-contained. There's no revolution possible unless you want to go pharma-based, unless you want to go supplement-based. But this is also not an optimal route because it is not a validated thing. It is statistically not validated. It never will replace the complete nutrition. This is why the inability to present a groundbreaking solution to make something that has less than 5% probability of working out, combined with the fact that most people still go and adopt schools of thought of some religious fanatics, of people who have very, very poor understanding of biochemistry, that have very, very poor understanding of how human body works, that have very outdated, completely some hermetic and limited thoughts about health and producing health via plant-based nutrition, that again are usually rooted in religious beliefs, that are usually rooted in the cults, going with those methods over and over and over and over, and trying to hack the system that has this high percent failure rate is kind of unreasonable. And I understand, like I myself, I had an ambition to fall in this range of below 5%, because yes, there are those examples. They will be always shown to you that Annette Larkins exists. No, Annette Larkins exists. I mean, she's one. 10,000 people. There are 10,000 people that are not Annette Larkins. There are thousands of people that try this and wither. So it is statistically not sound. But yes, there is a hope that we can hack the system, that there is some missing magical ingredient, some magical seed, some magical seaweed, some magical herbal tea that can help to sustain on the diet that does not provide essential nutrition. It's just human nature. We love ambitious tasks. So in conclusion, I would like you to acknowledge that if you feel like you stuck with vegan diet, you tried it all, and now your health is still declining, you feel like you're nutritionally deprived, and you are fearing taking a step to actually introduce animal products and change your diet, and accept a completely different approach, or literally just opening your diet and introduce some functional foods that will help you recover from nutritional deficiencies, restore your hormonal balance, restore your brain, restore your cognitive function, restore your blood vessels, then if you are having those fears, understand that they exist in your head only, that it is lack of your erudition, lack of being well-rounded about the up-to-date information on regenerative farming practices, on how healthful farming practices actually benefit the world. You are lacking knowledge on how animal products actually benefit the health, which animal products to choose, which ones to consume, in which quantities. Then, on the other hand, it is all, again, the illusion of purity. It is always the illusion of cleanliness. It's just not possible. Everybody is dirty on the inside. Everybody, or dirty, however we define it. Everybody is dirty, no matter what biochemistry is happening inside of you. There is always production of certain things that if you saw them extracted from your body, you would not be really happy about them. The thing is that what you're pooping out is the only thing that you can kind of control. It is a very attractive thing for people who are actually who focus specifically on the cleansing aspect of vegan diet. This is something that people can cling on to and obsess about it. It's a form of OCD. It's nothing else. It's literally just the OCD. With that in mind, please do some mental work and acknowledge that if something is necessary to do, you should probably do it instead of trying to procrastinate it and trying to put a band-aid on it. Because no, herbal teas will not restore hormones, because hormones need fats to be produced. They need proteins to be produced. There are different types of hormones. Some are protein-based, some are lipid-based. So you need to think about those things from a very crude biochemical perspective, and not through the perspective of some magical spiritual thinking and manipulations that set as a goal manipulating you into the guilt about your own biology. This is the nastiest thing that all the cults do, and all of those like movements, spiritual movements do. Recognize that and clean your mind out of all of this nonsense and follow your biological evolutionary needs with full awareness and with ever-expanding knowledge. Because even if you close yourself out of the notion that there are remedies outside of your scope of thinking, that they exist, if you close your mind to those, then you're choosing ignorance. And then if you eat meat for 1 week and you enjoy it, you can continue. If you don't enjoy it, you can forget about it and move on with your lifestyle and start finding solutions elsewhere in herbal teas. It is not a problem. But again, the goal of this video was to literally reduce your anxiety and return you to your senses if you are facing the choice of keep trying this dysfunctional vegan diet or switching your approach and start introducing animal products. This is the only goal. If you're happy with vegan diet, it's totally cool. It is the best thing ever. But there are many people who sit in total cognitive dissonance about, I'm doing something that is supposed to be good, but it's harming me. And to improve my state, I need to eat something that is supposed to harm me, but I know that it will give me some benefit. There's always an optimum. There is always the solution. There's always the most optimal, stable solution out there. You just need to find it. So, bye.